we're back for a little bite-sized episode today.
So we've got 14.5.
Yes.
And we back.
And then we'll be back, hopefully not too long.
First episode, kind of.
Yes.
Of 20.
First
23.
one recorded in 2023. That's what matters. New year. Worse me.
New year.
New
Down
Year's
bad.
resolution. Become the worst possible version of yourself. So there's a couple of things. January's kind of a quiet month overall. So let me twist that a bit. So yeah, this episode is sort of going to be little bits and bobs, and then next episode, unless anything crazy happens before we record that, we're going to do a bit like we did with Drake and the Weeknd, but for P&D. We're going to do a Party Next Door sort of album or project talk.
Little retrospective.
Yeah, retrospective and ranking to, So you got that to look forward to.
I'm interested to hear what your ranking will be.
Because I had an interesting experience going back through them, so I'm quite excited. So, Last of Us TV show.
Yes.
Dropped its first episode. Done by the person or the showrunner of Chernobyl. Starring Pedro Pascal and I can't remember who's playing Ellie.
Bella Ramsey, I believe is her name.
Who is from Game of Thrones. Is where most people will recognise her from. I'm sure she's in other things as well. Quite a long episode. It was like an hour and a half or so, just under.
Yeah. Quite a long premiere.
What did you think? What did you think of it?
Yeah. So originally, I didn't have it in my head I'm gonna watch this.
Because you preferred the second part of the story. So you were season 1.
It was because it was one of them things where it's the game is already so cinematic and the cast is so good.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
I didn't really see the point in making it live action.
Yeah, well, and it had a very weird rollout where you saw a lot of the showrunners and sort of behind the scenes stuff talking about how live action's better than video games.
Yeah,
and I don't get why we keep doing this when we roll things out nowadays, where we talk about the source material like it's lesser or shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I don't get as well, because in theory, video game is basically just as if you were watching an animated film or show. And no one ever questions them.
Yeah.
And no one's ever because it's animated, it's less true, less pure.
There were just lots of. It'd be like if you adapted a book and were talking about the book,
it's a
the
book.
thing with the book is it's words on a page, whereas this is real people.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, what? But I like why are you shitting on? Don't you want me to watch it? Why are you shitting on the thing that, you're basing everything on? So yeah, it was kind of weird going in. I was prepared for it to be shit. Because number one, it's a video game thing. I know people are going to go, what about Castlevania or this and that? The only good video game adaptations really seem to be animated stuff. Partly because I think what you were talking about, where it's sort of...
It's kind of what the medium is.
Yeah. It's a smaller jump to make.
Yeah.
Especially where we just had the Halo show. So it's my expectations were at 0.
But I don't know, because like I said, I wasn't gonna watch it, and then I saw all the reviews.
Same, I had the exact same thing.
People were saying this is the best television they've seen in how long, and best video game adaptation ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just watch it. And me personally, I thought it was good, but it is literally just a game.
Yeah.
So it's what?
And a lot of the moments where they shot for shot did the game kind of fell flat for me. I was actually more engaged when it was doing different stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you were seeing Sarah,
yeah.
when you were seeing like her going about her day, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is something different. Or because I'll give them credit. They got to the point where it's like Joel and Ellie. I was prepared for them to not even meet in episode 1.
Yeah.
Or that to be like the final scene where
he comes across her.
and it cut and be like, oh. Whereas I'll give them credit, like they blow through the prologue, like, because it's not really important, you know, Joel beefing the guy. Because I haven't played Last of Us since it came out on PS4. Because it wasn't a launch title, was it? The remaster. It was like pretty soon 14? After. So I haven't played it in over 5 years. So my memory isn't the prologue's long. Not the prologue as in with Sarah. Like the initial bit where you're in like the non-quarantine zone. That's like a whole thing where you go and get back the battery.
Yeah, because
right?
you fight. Yeah, instead of because when they show up, he's already been killed by the fireflies.
Yeah.
But that, it happens the other way, where you like there's like a stealth bit.
I
you
thought
like go
so.
to his
Yeah.
hideout. Yeah, I mean, you didn't really need that. So, like,
I was going to say, I was quite... And as I said, I think it's good to like just get to the point, which is Joel and Ellie. That's what everything hinges on. It's what the whole first game is.
Yeah.
Like, your pilot episode should always get you, like, here's the show.
This is what we're doing, yeah.
I think that's what's been missing in a lot of modern TV, where it's like, well, it's a 13-hour movie. The first hour's not going to have a lot that happens. And they'll be like, yeah, but like... It's hard for me to recommend someone a show and go like, oh man, 3 episodes in, it's really good. Because it's like, well, why is it not good from episode 1?
I mean, I will say I thought the cast was really good.
Yes.
Like, I thought...
I mean, Pedro Pascal is great in everything.
Yeah, but like I originally wasn't sold as him as Joel. I was like, really?
You wanted Joel Edgerton.
Yeah. I mean...
Kind of hard casting.
Would have been a good casting, but he was. I thought he was really good as Joe. I thought the actor that plays Tommy. He sounds exactly like Tommy. He was good. Tess
is the only one where I haven't got enough with her yet. I feel like I need like the scene, you know, where they're at the state house and she's bit. That's sort of what I need to go like. Because apart from that, she doesn't really get any big moments. You know what I mean? She's just sort of there to die and make Joel feel even worse.
The thing, I don't know if I'm sold on Ellie yet, to be honest.
We need a bit more. Because obviously they're trying to hide the truth about her for most of this episode.
Yeah.
So you can only get so long with her.
It's just Ellie, I mean, in reality, like, Ellie is the main character. So it's like... You kind of need to get her spot on.
Yeah. That's
I don't know yet if they've done that. But like, I mean, like I said, it's only 1 episode and she's only in like half of it. So like,
yeah. So
we'll see.
Just have to sort of.
Yeah, overall.
Well, and it's her relationship with Joel, isn't it? You need to see them interact.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you can fully tell with her character.
But like, I thought it was good, but like again, I was like, kind of just sitting there like. Well, this is The Last of Us. Like,
yeah. Oh, I like The Last of Us. I know this story,
and like in a way, it kind of took away a little bit of like the emotion.
Yeah,
because like you know everything that's gonna happen. Like they don't change anything about like.
Do you think they will?
I think we'll get to a point where they do. Yeah.
You think they'll?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll change the ending?
I think they'll change. Yes. Yeah.
You think they will?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I don't think they'll do like part 2 the same.
I would be shocked if they did. Because how do you pitch that? Oh, we're doing season 2, but
the main character.
Well, not just that, but it can't be Ellie, because obviously in the game you can age her up and it's fine. But you can't. They're not going to take like a 10-year break or whatever.
Unless they recast.
But then it's like, oh, who's this?
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think to a general audience, it'll be like, huh?
I think we'll get, instead of the time jump, like season 2 will literally pick up straight after the end of part 1.
Yeah.
But like, I think they'll change the end of part 1, if that makes sense.
You don't think it'll end with okay? You know.
No, I think they'll change it a bit. Like, I don't think they'll do it. Because then, like, I wonder what is the point if you're gonna do it like scene for scene, story bit for story bit. Like, what justifies the show.
Well, people liked the game.
I know.
And we would, you know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't mind if they change more of the middle stuff. To me, if they change the ending, I will be a bit like the whole. To me, my hottest take. I think The Last of Us is cool. I think it's cool. Like, it didn't change my life. It didn't make me cry. I just think it's cool. It's a cool video game with a above average story. But it wasn't like the best story I've ever played in a video game ever. You know, it's not even the best zombie story about a guy and a young foster daughter that he takes under his wing because The Walking Dead exists, and that is a fucking masterpiece. And yeah, I just so that's kind of why I was okay watching this, where I was just like, oh yeah, the game, I like the game, it's cool, but my memory's a bit foggy. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
I mean, we know they're doing like the stuff with Bill, because obviously he's been casted. So I'm guessing they're gonna keep that the same.
Well, I imagine they'll do the DLC as well as like a flashback episode.
Yeah,
because they already mentioned her. And the one thing I've seen in the trailer is Ellie and the girl posing in the photo booth.
Of course, yeah, which is from the game, the DLC.
So, as I said, that because it's 9 episodes, and I can't see why you would need 9 episodes to do the game.
Yeah,
because obviously a lot of the game, wisely they've like cut out bits and pieces. Like, I like that Joel only kills one person in this whole episode. You know, because whilst in a game it works, in a TV show you'd be like, Jesus Christ,
dropping 30 man.
Yeah,
every mission,
you know, and the first like death does like mean something because it's that soldier, and you know. But even then, I was a bit like, I like them delving more into Joel having PTSD as like an actual thing, rather than just being like, oh yeah, I guess he does. That's kind of why he's a dick. But I didn't need them to like flashback to his dead daughter. I was like, we saw that this episode. You just, because they cut the music, and I was like, oh, they're calling back. And then like they literally cut to his daughter again at the end, and I was like, yeah, I get it. I just saw that one ad break ago.
Yeah, it was a bit on the nose.
Yeah. So, but I like that like means like he fucking loses it and kills that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me right now, it's what's the justification of making this, rather than just to be like, yeah, we have a live action show. Like,
I was gonna say, at the moment, it's neat where you'll watch a YouTube video where it's a split screen and it's game and TV show.
Yeah.
You know, you'll go, oh, that's cool. Look, they did the scene.
And like I said, like, whilst the cast is great, like, so like the game is like perfect.
It reminds me of when there was a French movie called Funny Games that the Americans remade. And they remade, the director came in and he was like, we're remaking it shot for shot. And when you watch the American one, you're just sort of, there's just something off. Because you're like, well, none of these creative decisions were your own.
Yeah.
They're someone else's lines, someone else's camera shots, someone else's performance. You'll mimic it. Like, it just kind of, you look at it and go, that's neat.
But like, what is its purpose for existing?
That's the thing. Like, and there at least you can go, oh, it's English, I guess. Yeah. But here it's like, because I hate the more people will experience the story than would have otherwise argument, because it's like, number one, no, they're not. It's different. It's fundamentally different. It's a different medium. You know, people say the same thing about comic book movies. Oh, yeah, they changed a lot, but at least more people now know who Ant-Man is than ever before. But it's like, or Moon Knight, perfect example. But do they?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and like,
if it's not as good, do you care? And also, we need to stop pretending video games are like a niche hobby.
Yeah.
Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best-selling piece of Western media in his media,
crazy.
Not Western video game, which obviously it is, but like, it's made more money than any Western anything ever.
Yeah.
More money than Django, more money than Hateful Eight, or The Good, the Bad, and the whatever you want to point to. And it's like, yeah, of course, the GTA 5 is the best-selling piece of like, it's not some. At least with comics, you can argue it is a niche thing. With video games, I'm just sort of like, yeah, but it really isn't.
No,
like, okay, my
especially
parents will experience The Last of Us. That's kind of cool, but also I could have just like put on the TV like all cutscenes edited like a movie.
And like the thing is, the other thing is like the fundamental like relationship between Joel and Ellie. It hits more because you are like playing as them, and like there's certain scenes in the game which are like amped up. They're more intense because again you're playing them. Like the bit where you're in the you have to turn the generators on and like the pitch black. And there's just fucking clickers running.
Or the whole snow sequence when Joel's like injured.
Yeah.
And Ellie's in danger. You feel it because you are Ellie.
Yeah.
It's why I liked the stuff with Sarah, because I was like, in the game you instantly care because you're her. Oh, it's my character. I don't want my character to die. Whereas like this, it's like, yeah, but who is she? Like, you need to care a bit more. It's why I like that they added those extra scenes with her. I thought they worked really well. But it's like, will you do that elsewhere?
I think they will add stuff, but again, it's just, I don't know. Maybe they go a completely different route after like
maybe
5-6 episodes.
I could see the middle being quite different. I don't think. I'll be honest. I'll be pissed if they change the ending, because to me that's the only thing I truly adore about The Last of Us. Is I think the ending is like perfect. I love the like ambiguity of it. It's why when they made the sequel, I was like, I don't care. Like, especially with if it had been like just a sequel about some other people, I'd have been more invested. But like, I was like, the story ended perfectly, because like you know that like. You can read that ending however you want. Like, does she believe him? Doesn't she believe him? This and that. Like, and I'm like, it. Otherwise, why are you adapting it?
Yeah, I mean, but the other thing for me is like, don't get me wrong. Like, the game isn't super different with like gameplay and stuff. But like, when you play The Last of Us, you get like a certain feel.
Yes.
Like the atmosphere, just everything about it when you are playing through it. But it's like, when you take it to live action, it is kind of just like another zombie story.
I was going to say.
I don't get me wrong, like, obviously the story was the main thing about the game, which like is the main thing people cared about and loved. But I don't know. I feel like you immediately lose like a big chunk of why The Last of Us was good.
It's why when I saw someone say like, oh, they should adapt the Walking Dead Telltale game, and I was like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. Like, the whole appeal of that is like you get to make your own choices. And yes, people are going to jump in and say, yeah, but they're not that deep. But it is like still you still feel more invested in Lee because you get to choose what he says and like certain things that happen. Like if they just adapted it, you would lose like all of that, and it'd be like, oh yeah, decent zombie story about the like. There's a it's like when we adapt horror books, and it's like you lose a certain element of like the atmosphere. It's why a lot of Stephen King movies are shit, because he's so good as a writer at your brain does certain things because it's a book. You know, you're creating a mental image at the end of the day, and he crafts that perfectly through like extreme detail and extreme lack of detail in certain places. So whenever you adapt it, it's like, yes, everyone always laughs about the ending of it in the book, where they're like, oh, what were they supposed to make the ending of the film like a giant turtle and spider? And it's like, there is no way you read 900 pages of it and weren't invested enough that ending works for you in the book. But like in a film, I get it. Like visually, you know, someone would film it on their phone and go, what the fuck is this? And it's a big turtle. And you're like, huh? But it's like, I think you could still do interesting things in adapting it rather than just giving up.
I think the other thing is like, with film, you're immediately kind of told what to think in a sense, like through like the way the film is shot, the way it's told, the music, you're already like told what type of vibe you're meant to be experiencing. Yeah. Whereas like in something like a video game or like you said, a book, it kind of is more like an individual experience.
Yeah, definitely. Like even in a little way, even though the story is the exact same, my like version of Joel and Ellie's adventure is different. Whether it's because I died 1,000 times in one sequence, or you know, the horror of the clickers matters more because you're running from them. If the clicker catches you, you know, it's you it gets on some level. You know, it'd be like if they made an Outlast movie, I wouldn't really get it because I'd be like, but it relies so much on you playing.
Because that's a good example, because if Outlast was made into a film, it would be any other generic mental horror film.
What if Texas Chainsaw met the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
That's how I would walk into
Like,
my studio meeting with coke dripping
would-
out of my nose going, guys, money, Outlast. By the way, that Outlast Trials game looks fucking sick. Have you seen any gameplay of that?
I haven't.
It looks... no, they released like the first level as like a beta. It looks so much fun. Because it literally is just multiplayer Outlast.
Oh, it's multiplayer.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's 4-player co-op. But like, it's just out... Because I was worried when they announced it. I was like, oh, is this going to be some fucking nonsense where like it's called Outlast but isn't really... But it literally is. You're in an area and you have to collect certain things, and like there's booky people chasing you, and it literally looks like just if Outlast had a multiplayer mode. I'm super excited for it.
Fair enough, man.
But I will say, I think the elephant in the room when we're talking about this and being loyal to the game and making changes, there is an argument of like, yeah, but the Halo show made changes and they were bad.
But this is where like you're at a crossroads, because for me personally, like, again, it's the question of why does it need to exist then? Because if you're gonna adapt it one for one, what's the point? Because the game's already cinematic enough where you can enjoy it as that type of medium.
I mean, I did initially.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a PS3. I just watched it the first time round.
And then at the same time, it's the exact argument we had about the Halo show on this. Why adapt Joel and Ellie's story if you're going to change it? So like, either way, you're kind of... There's a criticism there. So it's like, why not make a Last of Us show set in the universe?
Yeah, that's like supportive. It could be about a character you meet in either of those games.
Yeah, or tell it from like the Fireflies side.
Yeah. You could have done Marlene as like a Joe, but then no, because it needs to be Joel and Ellie because
that's what sells,
and that's what Last of Us's identity is.
I know. But
if the sequel had been something different, I think they could have got away with it.
Yeah. But then it's like they shit on Joel and Ellie in the sequel, so it's like what? It's
Do you think Joel is wrong in the ending of The Last of Us? It's a fun debate I saw on Twitter.
It's tough because it's like, I mean, the game is told in like such a clever way where it's like, from Joel's standpoint, it's hard to criticize his decision. Like, after you see everything he's been through, like, I don't know, it's very clever. I mean, in a sense, yeah, because he like murders a whole...
I was gonna say he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot. I know I sprung the question on you because I thought it'd be funny, but like in general, I feel like it's a question you can't answer because like both are right. Yeah. Like Joel is a bad person. At the end of the day, he's selfish. He's a selfish, bad human being. Like he denies the world even the chance of recovery. But also like I feel like a lot of what people lose when they go, well, Joel's a bad person, and like the end is like, but the Fireflies are too.
Yeah.
You know, not that two wrongs don't make a right, but like the Fireflies, every time you see them, are incompetent. You know, which is I think the show did a good job portraying that, where it's like, these guys aren't winning a war, like they're just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You're really telling me they could have made a cure. Unlike
again, but it's
murdering a child is probably not a good without her consent.
That's the thing. Like people forget that she's like in a coma.
That's the thing. If the whole point was like Ellie like agreed to it, they put her under, and then Joel did his thing. Like, yeah, he's an irredeemable bastard, and you can argue he is an irredeemable bastard anyway. I think the sequel probably delves into that more. From what little I don't know the sequel, but what little I know, isn't Abby...
I've never played the second game.
There is no second game. But isn't Abby like the child of someone in the Fireflies?
She's the child of the surgeon that, you know, when Joel breaks into the room to save Ellie, her father is one of the surgeons he shoots.
That's so lame.
Yeah.
Why didn't they make her Marlene's daughter or something? Or just someone you give a shit about? An unnamed surgeon? No, that is what... I thought she was like someone important.
And that's why she wants to kill Joel.
That's so lame. I can't believe that.
And they like make Joel a fucking idiot. Like,
I've seen the clip where he gets queffed. And like
in the first game, the guy like sees a guy in the street holding a wound, and he's like, you know, he immediately knows he's faking.
That's literally the first sequence we saw from The Last of Us was that clip.
Yeah,
that's how they announced the game, was that sequence.
And
like, that is Joel's character.
And in the sequel, he sees this random girl in the snow, and he's like, "Come with me, like you can be with us." Like,
oh, so he's still with Ellie?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He's with Tommy. Like,
oh, okay.
They're like in the snow hunting or something. Or
right.
Scavenging.
And Ellie's gone off.
Ellie's in the village thing they've got going on.
Oh, I saw that in the E3 trailer where she's like lip sync girl.
Yeah, they're there. And like Abby and her crew are literally on a mission to hunt Joel. And they somehow stumble into Joel in the snowy mountain.
They just find him.
They just find him. She's about to like get queffed for like some clickers. And Joel's like, come with us. Like, he's not skeptical at all. He like,
and his character hasn't changed though. He's not gone on like a mad character arc. It's not like Ellie leaving him like broke him or anything.
No.
Oh, that's kind of lame.
And like he like helps her go back to her group.
And I've seen him get shotgunned.
Yeah, then that scene happens.
I need to play the game because otherwise I'm just gonna. Why does Ellie? Is Ellie there? Does Ellie see this?
Yes, because my memory's a little fuzzy, but I think the idea is Joel is gone longer than he was intended to. So like the timing is...
Oh, so wait, him and Ellie haven't had a falling out.
They have.
But
it's like more like Dad, like...
Oh,
like,
I see, okay.
It's not like they're not...
I assumed it was she finds out the truth and like that can't forgive him or something.
I think it is that, but like it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. Okay.
And then she like goes to search for him, and like the coincidence of like...
Oh, she finds him when he gets queffed.
Yeah. She gets caught in the room.
I was going to say, I'm sure, because I literally just saw the clip of him getting shotgunned and was like, huh?
For some reason, they let Ellie live. And then she, like, the rest of the game, you, like, hunt down Abby.
Yeah, and also get Abby's perspective, right?
Yeah.
I need to play it to form my own opinion, but that sounds very... I didn't realise she was just the surgeon's daughter. That's very lame. You know, just... That'd be like if, like, you found out Kylo Ren was, like, the kid of, like, the... Like... one of the random Jedi that Anakin killed.
Yeah.
And that's why he was evil.
Yeah.
Like an unnamed... Exactly, you know, the one that, like, jumps in to save Bail Organa? He's like, that was my dad.
Oh, and they let Tommy live for some reason.
Oh.
And that, like, bites them in the ass because Tommy hunts them as well and kills, like...
most
at least,
of them.
Yeah, half of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2... I said, I do want to play it just because I've heard such polarizing. Some people... Recently, there seems to be a resurgence of people going, it's a good game. And then, like, people like you who are just like, it's shit. So I really would... Well, you've said the story. You said the gameplay is better than one, did you say? Did you say they improved it a bit?
I think, like, as a game, as, like, a...
Gameplay,
game, like...
But the thing is, this just proves how important, like, the cinematic side of Last of Us is. Where, like, the story can taint your opinion on it that badly.
And I think me personally, no matter, like, how they chose to kill him off, I wouldn't have liked it.
Fair enough.
I think I'll tell a lie. Like, I think the timing was crucial. Killing him that early was like a slap for me. It was like a slap in the face.
Having not played it, where I'm a bit less married to the original, I don't mind the idea of Joel being killed. I just think you hate when a character gets killed in an uncharacteristic way.
Absolutely, like.
Because I love the idea of it's his own fault. I think... Like, the idea of him saving her, I'm not... But it sounds very, like... she doesn't trick him, sort of thing.
No. It's like he's licked.
He's just
like, he's soft.
not acting like himself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, as I said, I need to play it to form my own opinion, but realizing she's the surgeon's daughter is so lame that kind of makes me never want to play the game ever in my life, because
I'm
like, if you're making a sequel, maybe don't base someone around a background character that has like 2 lines.
Yeah.
2 lines. Because I like the idea of it's like revenge. The whole game's about revenge. I know that much. I love stories about revenge.
But it's stupid. It's so stupid.
But like, if I'm not invested in your revenge, it's very lame.
And it's like they're trying to be deep with it, because I don't want to spoil it, but it's like, in the end, it's all pointless. It's like,
it reminds me a bit of like the Terminator movie they made, where they just like shotgun John Connor. Literally the same vibe, where it just goes fucking blown away. Once again, haven't seen it, but I was excited at first because I was like, oh, they could tell any story. And it's like, no, this is still a story about a Terminator saving a child from like Skynet, and it's like, but you made a lateral move. Yeah. Except you downgraded because like, I care about John Connor because Sarah Connor matters to me, so I don't want to see her son die. He was a cool character in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him die. Whereas as a random new person, I'm like, oh,
wow,
hi there.
But that's exactly like the Last of Us Part 2, because I don't know, for me, like the timing was it was bad, and the writing was kind of bad.
It sounds rough. There's no way, as I said, I cannot see them making season 2 Last of Us 2.
I don't think they will, even if they like, just from like a fan response, I don't think they will. And like,
partly that, and also just like, if people like Pedro Pascal, and
it doesn't make sense to kill them off like in season 2.
Mormont girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Last of Us isn't a franchise. It's one game everyone loves and one very polarizing game. Yeah. At least with Halo and stuff like that, there's a whole universe to draw from. I think they should have just done this as a mini-series, and if it blew up, be like, oh yeah, we're doing season 2, I guess. But where they've announced this is season 1, I'm like, ooh.
But that tells me they are gonna like expand it.
I mean, that could be interesting, but then does it just become The Walking Dead? Your boy's back, isn't he, for the last season? They're doing like a big event with him and Michonne.
Rick. That show died a while ago.
That ironically became like a zombie of a show. An undead mess shambling around.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Video game movies.
I'm at least
and
invested
shows.
now. Like,
yeah, as I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see. Like, I think the clickers all look sick.
Like I said, Pedro, like Pascal, he was a good. I'm sold. Like,
yeah. He doesn't just feel like someone doing cosplay, which was my main thing. Every time I saw a screenshot from it, I went, yeah, that looks like the game, but like not in a good way. In a like when a cosplayer does it, I go, that's really impressive. But when a multi-million-dollar TV studio does it, I go, well, yeah, I fucking look good. You're HBO.
Yeah.
You made some of the greatest shows to ever exist. I would hope that like at least the costuming was immaculate in Game of Thrones until they gave up and there were like Starbucks cups in the background. But all of that stuff was always great. So I'm glad it at least looks lovely. Last of Us. Love it. What else has been going on in the world? Did you hear the new Drake and Popcorn song?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
Jamaican Drake is back.
I'm here for it.
Same. Let him cook.
Let him cook. Yeah, no, it was cool. Yeah, it was vibey. What about his Did you hear the leaked verse he had on Trance?
Yes.
What's going on there?
Metro, fix it
You
now.
fumbled it.
Fix it now. Because, like...
I've been cooped up. Like,
Yeah, did he write it for Travis? Because their verses are very similar.
I saw like did you see that interview with Metro where they asked why he was cut off it? Metro was like, oh, he had the song with Fugger and Trav on, and like he was just in the studio with Drake working on stuff, and he played some of the songs from Metro's album, and Drake heard it. He was like, oh, you gotta let me on this. And like, apparently Metro was like, oh, like there's no room for you really. Like, I don't want to sell you a dream. And then Drake was just like, oh, let me just do it and we'll see.
For
like,
the culture.
if you want it, you want it. And then like Metro was just like, oh yeah, like there's still no room for you. Like,
yeah.
Didn't.
He's wrong. I respect Metro.
Yeah.
Trance is a cool song.
You could have made room
Drake,
for Drake.
Definitely.
You could have made room for that.
If you had Travis and him tweak their verses so they're a bit more different, he fits perfectly.
So it is a very similar flow.
Adds a bit of variety.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of very similar people on there. But like, you know what I mean? It's like 21, Future, Don Toliver are on there a lot. Fug. Like having extra. I think it's one of the reasons people like that Weekend song so much. Is it's just a different artist.
Yeah.
Like I think having like Drake on there would have added a bit more variety to like just the voices and flows I'm hearing.
Listen, I thought the verse slapped.
Same.
It was a bit of a crime.
And you can't
just release the
Drake and Metro. I've never missed. Put him on the fucking deluxe.
Just put him on a remix, man. To do it for the culture. Like.
There's
it's leaked already.
I was gonna say it's out there, but they'll be it's out there now.
Did any other music drop? Now that we're on the subject.
I don't know. Oh, you see, there's a new OVO artist.
Yes, I saw that.
And it's the fucking girl that Drake slept with and her husband broke up with her.
Oh, is it?
Allegedly. Naomi Sharon, I think is her name. I like it. She's quite wavy. I like that there's a woman on OVO. Drake writes good music for women.
He's going to sign Ice Spice.
She's doing wireless. They confirmed. Because someone sent an icicle emoji and a chili emoji. And they responded like, yep.
That's crazy.
So you could see her in person.
That is crazy.
Shout out to Ice Spice. Because you're a big fan. Her album dropped, didn't it?
Yeah, she dropped an EP on it.
The album artwork went kind of hard.
It did, yeah. Oh, man.
Dropping hentai on your fucking Spotify.
On the timeline.
I was like, fair enough. Ice Spice hentai. I didn't know that was something that could exist, but
I'm happy it does.
But apart from that, I think it's been quite quiet in general. I haven't seen a lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big one. Party dropped a single.
Yes, yeah, that was.
We might as well
good.
cover that now rather than
in the retrospect.
In the retrospective, as it's just a single.
Yeah, it was alright. Like it was good. I thought.
Right.
I wanted more. Like I wanted more from Party.
What, like more songs or just more quality wise?
Yeah,
quality wise. I don't know. As a like professional hater and a very paranoid person, it spoke to me, that song. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. It was like him. It was what I wanted from that random Diddy verse. Because clearly that Diddy song he did must be an old one. Because as I said, he was tweeting a lot, so I was like, oh, he seems mad. So when I went in and he was trying to like harmonize on the track, I was like, okay. Whereas this, he was fucking mad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn. I don't get the people saying it's like old Party, because this is still very like, this could have been on Party Mobile.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That's what I mean when I say I wanted more.
You wanted like the news.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more like
savage. Well, a bit.
Because even then, Savage Anthem's still
slow,
quite harmonic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? This is more like, not he's rapping, but like, it reminds me of like kind of the middle section of Partymobile a little bit.
Party Next Door, man, like underrated, but 3 years since Partymobile.
That's a long time.
Time ain't real.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, that's like fresh. That's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
fresh
yeah.
take.
See, me, it's the opposite. I'm like, did he really? I can't believe he like hasn't dropped since Partymobile. I'm like, is that was the last fucking thing we got from him?
I feel like music, in like an R&B sense, music like we had like a good era from like 2014 to like 2018. Like there was like some solid stuff in there.
Yeah, Party, Bryson
came about. All 3 Ps, like Party tapes.
Yeah. Obviously, Weekend was still an R&B
you get
artist.
Kissland in that.
And even Beauty's a good R&B.
Beauty, you get what?
Influence.
You get like what? Bit of Drake.
Yeah. I feel like Party got so much hate back in the day that I feel like he like just fucking ducked.
He ducked and then he came back looking for a hit.
Yeah.
Which like kind of ruined
the vibe.
The streak.
Yeah.
Like,
but like now I feel like everyone retrospectively is like, yeah, Party, one of the best artists to ever.
I feel like
draw birth.
Anyone that hated on P3 at the time, if they heard it now, would be like, yeah, this is fucking, this slaps.
It's already happened where people who I remember saying they didn't like P3 are now like, yeah, the original Party trilogy is like a masterpiece, and I'm like, whoa, run that back. The whole trilogy, I thought
P3 slaps, man. Like that's like it's if you took like if you were like what is Party Next Door and made like a compilation. That's
right.
what P3 is.
Yeah. Especially with like modern. Although you don't really get the like thugger influence.
Yeah, it's more like ones. P1 and 2 with a bit more. You know, some songs are looking for like a hit.
Yeah, and
like
also
the dance hall.
Yeah, the dancehall influence, sort of. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I said, I feel like, as I said, it's an interesting thing with Party where like it just seems like the narrative has switched so much where everyone's like, yeah, we've always loved Party, and it's like, well, no, like, I don't know. I'm interested to see where he goes with a new album.
Same. I miss when like people had a sound.
Yes.
Where it's like now everyone's chasing, or they're biting like each other's sound. But it's like even like, I know like, don't get me wrong, like, I love like Dawn FM. It's like one of my favorite albums, but even that is like, it's 80s, more inspired by something. Rather than creating a wave, like that era of like Weekend, Party, like 2011-12 Drake.
Well, that's because everyone bit Party's sound and created a whole new genre from it.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
it's just now I feel like music at the moment is.
All I'm saying is, Mr. Jailbird himself, Tory Lanez. If you listen to the first Chicks tape, I don't know about the second. I can't remember it very well. Sound totally different. After P2 drops, all of a sudden this guy's singing.
But he's like notorious for like buying sound.
I'm telling you, he was making a house album.
Career,
I have no evidence of it, but he was making a house album because all of a sudden everyone's into house music, and like I can sort of see why Party wanted to be like, no, but I ain't just that.
He's always been that though, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
and he writes for so many people. I get it.
Yeah, but like,
but I don't know. It's not as good a comeback as The News was for me.
Yeah, that I think that was my thing. Where it's been such a while. I know we got that OG Parker song. Like,
and as I said, the Diddy one. And
but
he's not really dropped. He hasn't dropped. It's always been a collab or whatever.
I was expecting like you say, The News. Like for me, that was like, let's scale it back. Like,
that's very moody. This isn't moody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is vexed.
I just miss that era. Like everyone now's like, let's make a bop for TikTok.
Yeah, but I like that this wasn't that. I'm glad this wasn't loyal.
I'm not saying that's what that is. But
You know what I mean? Like, I get your point. For me, it worked. It felt like Party come back in and being like, look, I'm not chasing a hit.
Yeah,
that's what I liked about this. Was his just a song.
That is important. That is important because although I do like Pipemobile, like it did feel like at points that's what that album was trying to do. It's like I want another hit. Like, to be fair to that album, like as an album, I don't think it was trying to do that too much.
No,
like Loyal and really like
Loyal and the Rihanna song.
Yeah,
believe it.
It was like true to a theme.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get into it a lot next pod. But I think Party does a good job, like managing to have his vibe while still like being happy to experiment. You know, every album except for maybe like maybe 7 Days, except for maybe 7 Days, always has a classic sounding Party song where you're like, oh yeah, that's Party fucking Next Door, all right.
Yeah.
You know, so as I said, I was glad because I was a bit worried when it was one song. I was like, is this just gonna be like if Loyal hadn't been in a 2-pack? If it had just been Loyal.
But then what is it? It's like, is this gonna be a single for like an album rollout?
I don't know with Party, man. I hope it is. I mean, because obviously OVO Sound kind of announced it bookily where they were like, new sound all 2023. And it was just a picture of Party Next Door. And I was like, what does that mean, though? And then, like, a week later, he announced, like, oh, yeah, new single. And so it's like, I assume it's an album because he's also at a few festivals. So I'm assuming he has an album.
Hopefully.
And I feel like he is an album artist. Looking back on his discography, I'm shocked. I was shocked by how little there was to get through.
Yeah, I mean, part of the album is like he's not a feature. He
doesn't do singles unless they're 4 albums, really. You know, there are no Lucy's, or if they are, they were always like SoundCloud things. And now obviously you get them in Party Pack or whatever. I don't know. I
just for me, like, I know we're kind of turning this into like the party. Yep.
But I think that will be different because that will be more guided, where we go like this album, this album, this album.
I just feel like Party. Like, I love Party Next Door, but I feel like there was always something there where it's like he could have been like the GOAT of like R&B. Like the first.
He is though. My thing is, like, I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like the first 3 are like.
And he wrote some of the biggest fucking hits.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same argument that like Weekend fans have. Not as much. Whereas like, you know, the first 3.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But it's in a different way. Like Weekend was making like some weird shit. Like, do you know what I mean?
And Weekend is always a more what's the term, like conceptual artist. It's like this album has this sound.
And it was like
been different.
Let's be real. At the time, like Weekend was making like alternative R&B. It weren't like cool like in that way. It was like, if I'm a weird crackhead, I'll listen to like Weekend's R&B. Whereas like Party had like,
it's a good time.
Yeah,
his name's Party.
He had like a sound. It was like summer vibes. Like,
I mean, the first album where he was suddenly not in that bag the whole time is where people turn on him with P3. When he finally does some sad fucking music.
Because that
like,
album is fucking moody as shit. Like P3 is.
High Hopes is like the second you hear that opening, you're like, this is different. Like
it is a moody album. Like,
yeah, definitely. I don't want to, but it feels like almost like a hangover. You know what I mean? It feels like the party's over, man, and you're just there like, oh, I woke up next to some fucking chick who I don't know or like.
He was just stoned, like just sitting there. Like,
it felt like he went in the studio kind of mad, just like pissed off. Where it's like, fuck's sake, like just fucking. He opened his phone and like had like a really wild text from like Kalani or whoever. And was like, for fuck's sake.
But I just feel like what, because there's like a crazy drop off from P3 to 7 Days, isn't it? Next.
Colours 2.
Okay. Because to be fair, Colours 2 is a good, like...
I really like Colours.
It is good.
I
think what I'm...
But the thing is, it sounds so different, I think, because P3 was so poorly received at the time.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I'll do something fucking different then.
Which is interesting. I wonder why, it was received poorly. Like...
I think it's a mix. I think the thing is that album doesn't have a hit in the sense of like... work or any of the hits he's written for Drake. Like,
I know, but it has Come and See Me.
Has that? But that I mean, that's a classic Party.
That's
Come
like
and See Me.
that's like the sexiest Party song. Well, not the sexiest, but
I was gonna say, hang on, P2,
mainstream. Like, come on, people. That song was like,
I don't know. Break from Toronto is sexier than Come and See Me. What's good?
No, but do you know what I mean? Like, Break from Toronto is not really.
I get what you mean. They're more like
upbeat,
like, yeah.
Moody, like.
But the thing is that that's not playing in the club.
No, I hear you.
I'm comparing like Not Nice is the biggest hit in that sense from that album, and that has nowhere near the cultural relevance of like a Work or as I said,
I know, but then like Work ain't on like a Party tape.
But people know he wrote it, and people are like, well, where's his? So I think when he does that sound, people at the time were like, why is you gave all your best songs away? They're wrong.
Yeah. And to be fair, like Not Nice was hated when it came out.
Yeah. I mean, I hated it at the time when it came out because I was like, this is a fucking betrayal. Because I liked like P1 and 2. I was like, the fuck is this? Whereas now I'm like, he's such a versatile artist. Like I like artists growing and changing. I don't mind. But I think a lot of people at the time were like, it's not as good as Work. You're just doing the sound. It's not. Oh, Controller is better because 2016 is a stacked year for
he
that sound.
And although he wasn't, it looked like he was just buying Drake and Rihanna, which like is the opposite. But,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
It looked
Looked
that way.
Well, and it probably felt because he comes out, everyone compares him to The Weeknd. I think he was like, no, let me do a different sound.
I don't see that.
I've never got it.
Yeah, that's where I struggle because for me, P3 is like the closest to being like a Weeknd.
I think P2 is. That's interesting.
You think P2?
I think P2 because it's R&B.
It's R&B, but not in the same way. It's R&B like.
Oh, I'm not saying they are this. I'm saying it's the closest. I don't think Party is at all a Weeknd sound alike.
But my thing is like, P1 is like nothing like House, Thursday Echoes.
Kissland, any of it.
No, like for me, when I think of like P1, it's like we're in Toronto, like the fucking Break from Toronto music video. I'm in like a Jeep
with some white girls
riding out. Like, genuinely though, like Weekend's like I'm sitting in a fucking apartment with heroin in my arm, like,
and some white girls.
Yeah.
Even more white girls somehow.
Coked up white girls. Whereas Party's like we're all blazing.
Party is like the good part of coke.
And yeah.
Where
he's
your
pure.
Your jaw's gurning and you're just gas.
He's pure and Abel's like some shitty coke you got in like the fucking club.
Yeah, like the random guy that is wearing a like big coat in the club for no reason. It's the middle of summer and he comes over and goes, "You man want some gear?" That's the Weeknd sound. Whereas Parties is just you're vibing. You're having a good time. You're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Like the P1 and P2 have no like sad songs.
That's what I mean. But then when you get to P3, it immediately is like, it's not a dark,
but it is dark. Like High Hopes, threesomes with a wife.
Yeah.
That's the opening fucking song.
Yeah.
I don't know with Party.
Nobody as well. Like,
Nothing Easy to Please.
1942. Not dark, but.
What's the one is? 4 a.m. in Toronto. I know you want me. Transparency. That's dark as fuck. Where you're like, what is happening? You just feel like you've done like 4 tequila shots in a row, and you're just
that's
like.
I feel like people immediately think of like, Not Nice and Come and See Me, and they're like, that's what the album was.
Yeah, but
it wasn't. Like,
it's funny because those two songs are so different.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Come and See Me gets attention because it's a Drake feature.
But Come and See Me is like quite a safe R&B song.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like after Bryson came out, Party was like, I invented it.
Yeah.
Like, behave.
Like, it's a banger, but I mean, like, it's very safe. And then, like, obviously Not Nice is like upbeat dancehall.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very different sound. It's so difficult with Party because, as I said, he every album he seems to challenge it, because even P1 and P2 are radically different.
Yeah.
So I feel like my biggest knock against like Party Mobile is it felt like he was just like trying to do the greatest hits almost.
It does feel like that. I agree with you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're great songs on there.
Yeah.
But some of them, sometimes it does just feel like it's like
it felt like
there's nothing new under the sun there.
It felt like a diehard Party fan was like, let me make a spiritual successor to P1, 2, and 3.
To me, Party Mobile feels like he wants to be like, this is the good version of P3 in his where people didn't receive it well. He's like, let me do the same thing where it's all these different sounds, a lot of dancehall, moody R&B,
but it's like
dark R&B.
It didn't slap the same way. Like Loyal's like a B-Tech, Not Nice. Like
yeah, that's fair.
Like,
or Eye on It.
Yeah,
kind of is a B-Tech Nobody. Yeah, you know, every song there, even the songs I fucking adore, like PGT is just kind of a B-Tech options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with the chorus.
Another Day is pretty much in the exact same placement as Come and See Me. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we'll get into it more next pod, but I think that's the point where the reason I don't, until I revisited it and have changed my opinion a bit, I think where we were left sat with it, I just didn't really revisit it apart from the 4 songs I love off that album, because I was just like, there's nothing, he's not trying something different. Whereas even something like 7 Days, where it like didn't hit at the end of the day, he was trying something. He was, you know, each of those songs sounds radically different to each other.
You know, it feels like, for me, it's like, it's his Starboy.
Yes, yeah, it's exactly like, it's same year. From what, or the year after.
It's like,
like 6 months.
I've come off like the crack. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna make like a safe album
and then duck.
Yeah. That's what it felt like.
If Party Mobile was the year after 7 Days, I wouldn't mind. But it's like 2-3 years later, and you're like, this is what you left me with. Like, Colours 2 would have been a better thing to leave me with. Like, I don't know. As I said, I just feel like I hope this new album he has something new for us, because I'd love to hear Party, even if it is chasing a sound. Like, I'd love to hear Party on a house beat. You know, I'd love to hear him try his hand at a genre I haven't heard him in before. You know,
I just feel like now we've lost that era where it's like, I'm gonna make an album true to my sound. Where now it's like, I have to feel this
streaming.
Quota.
We got to have the song, the TikTok song, this song, that song. Yeah. Which, I mean, he's signed to Drake. What can you expect at the end of the day?
Like, respect to Drake, because like he just dropped a house album out of nowhere. Like, fuck.
But nobody liked it.
But fair play. Like, at least he did it.
Yeah.
And like, I like it.
I was gonna say, I love it. I'll go that far. By the way, I revisited CLB because they were playing it in the pub I was in yesterday. That is a great album. I stand by what we said about that album, because they weren't playing it on shuffle. It was just it was like Champagne Poetry, Plucky's Home. Like, I was like, this is a fucking great album. And I on the train home, I was listening to it like, because I was like, is it like the bangers are bangers? I was like, they really ain't like a miss, like a straight up miss on that album.
It's solid. Like,
because it gets compared to Scorpion a lot. I think it's way
better.
ahead.
Yeah, Scorpion is low-key his worst album.
We've been through this before. Thank Me Later.
Thank Me Later, yeah.
The thing is, Scorpion does have hits, so I get people's nostalgia. Because that year he did a run.
That was a good year. Like, features as well. Not just the album.
Mate, features Drake. Because I was going back, I was like sorting some playlists out, and I was like, does Drake not have many features before like 2017? And I was like, he doesn't really. Like, he does, but not like now, where he'll just come on a fucking song and annihilate it, where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like with the Jack Harlow one recently, or like Block Boy, or whoever.
Because that year we get like what? Walk It Like I Talk It.
Yeah, Walk It Like I Talk It, the Block Boy song, all of the bangers off Scorpion, and there's like those 4 singles like ran the club.
We get that like, is it the song with Bad Bunny?
Yes, me. That
one. He like ran
Bad Bunny numbers. It's a rough. Yeah, nah. He ran a year with one of his weakest albums.
That's crazy.
That's what I called the go. Oh, did you hear the fucking J. Cole song, by the way?
No, the one that was on YouTube.
Yeah, the J. Cole sounding beat one.
I didn't. Did you?
Yeah. I listened to it because I wasn't sure if you'd have heard it.
Any good?
I enjoyed it. It's a throwaway, but I enjoyed it. I was like, this is cool. I like it. He's a bit more like laid back on it. Because I was like, is it going to be fucking... Like, I was ready for that. So when he was just kind of flowing, I was like, okay, I haven't heard this Cole in a while.
Yeah.
But is it that just because it's a throwaway?
Could be. I mean, 3 Kendrick songs leaked as well.
Oh, no way. I didn't see anything about this.
Yeah, they like leaked on Spotify. But obviously it's...
New ones or old ones?
I think they're Morale leftovers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which like, who cares?
I'm glad you said it and not me. I just called Drake the GOAT. If I fucking start hitting on Kendrick, they're gonna be like, "Get this guy off the screen." Yeah, I don't know. Music. We fucking. I'm a bit scared of our podcast, the way we like fucking manifest shit. Because we talked about Huss, and New Year's Day he announced new album. We fucking talked about Ed Sheeran. He dropped a fucking freestyle today. I was like, he's doing it again. His album just came out and now he's doing a fucking freestyle.
Minus.
I was like, oh no, he's about to do Collaboration 7. He's gonna get he'll get Bad Bunny on there, let me tell you.
Yeah, no.
Ed Sheeran's definitely like, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, all
reply.
Of it, yeah.
Please reply. Yeah, I don't know with to like close off with Party, I really like the new song, I'll say. I think it's, as I said, I like Party being mad, because he says some wild shit on that song. I was like, oh, damn.
Crazy.
So I like that we're entering the new year with like a lot of, it looks like we're going to get a lot of music, you know. Cole's dropping, Party's dropping, Huss is dropping. Like, I'm quite optimistic for this year, because you could argue like we got so much music last year. Are we even gonna who's left to drop? So I'm optimistic. I think it might be another good year.
Should be a good year. Music.
Yeah.
Still there, because there's still a few artists that didn't drop.
Yeah.
Black
drop. Right.
Come on, man.
He's immune to our fucking powers.
To our juju.
Every time we talk about him, he's like, I'm pushing that album back another month.
Yeah.
Every time you mention my name, because he, to me, no offense to Bryson, is the true successor to like Party sound.
Yeah, and like for good reason, because he does what I was just saying. Like, he sticks to his sound,
but like, also it's not lazy.
Yeah.
Free Black and Love Letter have a different vibe.
Yeah.
But I still could tell you what a Black song sounds like.
Exactly. He's not chasing a sound. Like, which I wonder, like, what a Black album would be in 2023. But we'll see.
I'm hyped. I want to see at the end of the day. Like,
2018 was 5 years ago. What?
Half a decade since our last Black album.
But 2018 seems like it was like a year ago. What's going on there?
That's insane. Scorpion was like
5 years ago.
Scorpion was like a fucking half a decade old. What? That's insane to me. Because well, and that stuff, songs like that are still played so much when you're out and about. It blows my mind that you're like, oh, this isn't a new song.
It's like, what? Like, that's mad. That's mad.
Yeah, nah. Old and washed. You are the cover of Dawn FM. Still going grey on them anyway. No, I don't know. Yeah. I can't believe it's been that long since he dropped.
Yeah, 5 years.
Future
5
and Metro
years.
dropping confirmed.
Yeah.
That's gonna
I'm ready.
change my life.
I'm ready.
That should be...
There's no excuses for that. If it's whack, then like...
Because like, how are you both whack?
Someone fumbled.
Because like, someone has to... At least you either have to go, well, Future was rapping, or like, Metro produced the shit out of this. For you both to flop. It's impossible. Future... You can't have the guy that does your fucking producer tag make a bad album with you.
Yeah, for real.
At the end of the day.
For real.
Like, both of your producer tags.
But yeah, man. Party, we'll see. Next pod,
we're going to have
we'll
a
delve into that.
fat deep dive.
Yeah.
January, man. Just a fucking 10th month. Nothing fucking happened. Cloverfield turned 15. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
15.
That is crazy.
Great movie. Shame they never made a sequel. They just made like that spin-off, Cloverfield Lane.
Which was great.
Arguably better than the original, but
yeah,
it's crazy that just those two movies and nothing else ever came out. But I swear they said they were doing a fucking sequel, like a straight sequel to the original. They announced that like last year or the year before. Is that real?
I don't think so. I feel like they just make up stuff, like that Cloverfield Paradox film.
What's that? I've never heard of that. Sounds weird though. Sounds like it'd be a bad idea to make that a Cloverfield movie.
No, you didn't need a sequel to that film. You never needed a sequel to that film.
I think you could. There's an interesting thing. To me, there's two ways you could do a sequel. Is either it's the first film from someone else's perspective, which could be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the army.
I guess.
It's like a body cam of a soldier. That could be fun. Or you do it like the Aftermath, where it's like the fucking apocalypse, where there's like 8 of these monsters just like fucking up your day. But would it just be the same thing, I suppose?
Yeah, for me, it was like, it never like screamed like, oh, we need a sequel.
Well, I mean, that's why Cloverfield Lane is so good, is it's just its own thing. Low-key.
Yeah.
It probably shouldn't have been called Cloverfield Lane. Like, it should have just been called, like, The Bunker. I think originally it's called The Bunker.
It should have been. It's got no relation to, like, Cloverfield. And,
like, kind of the one criticism I have of that movie, because I fucking adore it, is, like, why is this in any way Cloverfield anything? Like, what is the point?
And it would have been so easy to make it Cloverfield.
Yeah, just it's monsters rather than aliens.
Yeah, like when she gets out, she sees the monster in the distance.
Yeah.
The ticks like start chasing her or something.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. So like, why call it that if you're gonna make it aliens?
It wasn't filmed as a Cloverfield movie. They just changed the title.
But
it's like so many years later. Why?
And I don't understand that, because Cloverfield's like a cult hit. It's not like it. It's not like it's a franchise that will make you
literally. There's no other movies. There's no other nothing. It's not like, oh yeah, there's loads of comics and fucking spin-off novels. And
then they tried it again. No, then they tried it with that zombie
Overlord
film.
That changed their mind at the last minute.
And then they did.
I haven't seen it. Apparently, it's really good.
Same. I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it. And then they actually made a Cloverfield.
One that like did what they should never have done and like tried to wrap the whole universe
in like a multiverse.
But that's the worst answer possible. What do you mean? Because like any sequel, you're just like, well, there's nowhere to go. It's just, oh yeah, multiverse. It's fucking, oh yeah, there it is. Look, oh, the light. There's an alien, or a zombie, or a whatever, and you're like, that's so. What an arbitrary like universe.
Yeah, innit?
God, yeah, it's got a deep fucking cinematic universe. It's just, oh, there's a light and then monsters appear. And you're like, what?
I do need to watch the first Cloverfield again. That is a good film.
The best, like, roller coaster movie you could ever watch. I feel like I should be in, like, a simulator. Like, I don't like the idea of a 4D movie. That sounds like hell to me. But I would probably watch Cloverfield in 4D.
Yeah,
I imagine you just be thrown around in your seat as he's, like, stomping. Every time he stomps, like, your chair, like, vibrates.
Yeah, that'd
like,
be sick.
That's what that movie was made for. Like, I get the complaints where it's like the characters aren't that deep. I'm like, yeah, but it's just a ride. You just sit down and the movie is literally just what if a fucking monster showed up.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing deeper to it. Like what if you were going about your ordinary day, crying over some girl that don't even want you that bad,
And then fucking
then a fucking just a monster appears and it's like fuck you, fuck you all. Matt Reeves, has he ever missed?
Not that I've seen.
I was gonna say I've only seen like 3 of his movies, but not as far as I'm concerned. Oh, did you see about fucking Suicide Squad, the game?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It looked kind of mid.
Big mid.
Yeah.
Big mid.
It's a big conspiracy.
I'll see him soon. He'd better fucking.
He ain't dropped since 2019.
I was gonna say, big conspiracies just before lockdown, isn't it?
Ouch.
Might be 2020. I think it is 2020.
Is it 2020? Yeah.
Because I feel like we heard "Must Be" like twice in the club, and then got locked off. I think.
We did an hour. That's not bad.
I was gonna say, considering I went in with like 2 topics, you know, I was like, what we're gonna talk about the fucking award shows. You know, so and so won the Golden Globe.
Who cares?
Kira Noir won Performer of the Year. AVAs.
Who won?
I got your interest. You're like, hang on, don't shut off the camera. Kira Noir. She's been going brazy. Shout out to her.
And on that note,
big up. Cried when she got the award. I was like, shout out to you. Put in the work. At the end of the day,
that's what happens.
Got to put in the work.
Put in the work, you get the rewards.
Get some new titties, and all of a sudden you're winning Performer of the Year. It's crazy. It's crazy out here.
Iggy Azalea has an OnlyFans.
What am I supposed to do with this information? You know though that there's nothing on there.
But when there is, man's there.
I guarantee you there's nothing in there better than the fancy music video. I guarantee
No.
you.
Right now it's dead because someone's
Tell me more.
someone's been on the Reddits.
That's when you're damn bad when you're scrolling the Reddit. You're like,
Subreddits.
You're like, okay, this is it. You're like, really?
Is this all?
That's
Yeah.
what she had.
£5 a month for this.
Oh, it's not free.
Nah.
Oh, I assume she was doing the scam where like entry's free, but you gotta pay a $5 and then like you just see her in a bikini.
Nah.
But the caption's always something like really fucking like watch
she
me
she
fucking
was gassing it.
take it.
She was gassing it as if it's gonna be
like her taking it.
Oh,
Weren't her and Tory Lanez affiliated before?
were they?
I'm pretty sure before
How does
he
that guy bag
went
some
pen.
like short? He's doing it for the short men. Like, fair play.
As someone once said, Fiona picked an ogre over a short man. So there you have it. There you have it.
If your height don't start with a
7.
7.
If you're on a fucking White Walker at the end of the day,
I don't want to hear no talk. No long talk.
oh no! Shout out to all of them, all the OnlyFans girls. Shout out to Kira Noir.
Chase the bag, man.
You gotta secure it.
Chase the bag.
She has an OnlyFans too.
Really? Fair enough. I love bushes.
Have a see what's happening. Check the subreddit.
But yeah. So episode 14.5.
I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm not sure how this is gonna end up edited out or whatever. Like how
much we'll
I
get
assume
out of it.
like how much of the episode will like drop in terms of like will it be a full episode or will it be a random thing just on YouTube or whatever. But either way, make sure you're around for episode 15 because as I said, deep dive. We gave you a little tease,
Just a little bit.
We gave them the free trial to the OnlyFans. We let them see like a bit of the P&D discussion. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, follow us, and all of that loveliness. And we will catch you next time.
Peace.